Dear viewers, this is Dr. T.S.Rangasamy, Head Department of BCA, K.S.Rangasamy College of Arts and Science, Autonomous Tirchangur. Today, we are going with a new seminar, Project Phases from the core. Before introducing the chief guest, let me thank our management, our Honorable Principal Dr. V. Radhakrishnan, and our team, faculty members, and my dear students. I thank you all for joining this session. And before getting into the session, this is the time to introduce our chief guest, Dr. M. Vijaykumar. Most of our second year and third year students will know Dr. Vijaykumar very well. For the first year students, I have to introduce Dr. M. Vijaykumar. Okay. He is one of the most top-ranked professor among us. He has he is owning the parents, number of conferences, number of resource persons. He acted as number of resource persons and published so many books and papers. And he is a well-worked person in computer science. Let us welcome Dr. Vijay Kumar for this session. This session will be out around 40 to 50 minutes. And in this session, particularly, we are going to know about the project. What is a project? What is a project? And what are the phases are there? And how we have to start and how we have to end the project. So totally, Sir will explain all the phases, not only for third year, even second year and first year students. You just see what is project and how we are going to carry in the future. Okay. Now, on behalf of our management, principal, faculty, I welcome Dr. Vijay Kumar online. Welcome, Vijay Kumar. Welcome.
Yes, sir.
Yes, this is the time for your presentation.
Good morning. Good evening, on all present here. This is Dr. Vijay Kumar. First of all, I thanks Dr. T.S.Rangasamy sir for giving me the opportunity to discuss with the essential tips for computer science project, especially for our BCA students. Before that, I thank Dr. T.S. Venkateswaran sir, as well as our beloved principal, Dr. Radhakrishnan sir, and the management. Um, Before I entering our project, I can explain the concept of what is a project. The simple identification essential things of the project is known as a project is an undertaking that means carried out the individually, collaboratively, and passively involving the research and the design. This is a initial step for our project. But in our student scenario, in a simple, basic, innovative things is happens like that. Especially when your HOD sir, Dr. Venkateswaran sir, I learned the number of projects. That means whatever the things we going to give, he will create in a new way. That is the innovative thing is need for the project. That means a project is any undertaking carried out individually. That is a very important step for our entire things. Before starting our project things, what you mean by project we know explain, and what are the project example means. Project is an one-time event, a specific beginning end date. That is a very important thing learning for our student. In our UG scheme and UG scheme, there is a project is they collaboratively add with four peoples will work on the same project. That means four peoples working the same project with different angles. That is a very important thing. For examples, the project disaster recovery projects, suppose a design of a software program or consideration of a bridge program, whatever it may be, you take your own way. But what are the team members involved in gradually? That means the team lead, assistant lead, and what are the data collection works and other things. Each and everybody contribution is must, so that the we given as a project is an one-time event with a specific beginning and end. That is a very importance of our scenario maintained in the project. A deep world, we can start our project things is number of events, because we pick the project topic is more importantly we do for involving that project. That means medical labs. Suppose you are interested in the medical fields, means you are a computer science students. Basically you learn a number of things in our curriculum, especially your department do excellent value elective courses. That means your concentration is more appear than the medical labs and other systems. So medical labs is a current scenario nowadays you used to, especially in our pandemic time. There is a demand, huge demand is there. Before starting the project, there is a data collection is a very important, so that only I am very much concentrate on this project for the, especially for our computer science students, is a very important thing. Why the computer students do the project in and purpose means simple things. The project you can plan and organize and goal oriented works. This is our computer students must do, because a simple example for planned. Why the reason you select the project? What are the essential things you're going to done in the projects? That is a very important. Before start your project, you fix as a case study. That case study is a representation of suppose you take as a medical field. Medical field means what is the current thing is going on, what are the medical things we add with our software industries, how the software is correlated with the medical industry, and how it is defined. That kind of things we must learn, so that only we can define our project in a planned work. That means a planned is a very important. Suppose you are a four member team, means there is an important person, that means a team lead, he going to decide we going to do the medical project, means the remaining three people are going to plan what, that means who will take the software work, and who will take the data collection work, and who will merge the both software and our data collection in the particular design. That is a very important, so that we, and another step we go for the project is organize, how to organize this project. That is a very important step for our thing. At the time only we go for the guide. That means you are luckily in your student scenario, guide is allotted. Especially in our department, there is a guide allotted for our four students. That is the guide act as an important role for organizing, before organizing your project. That's very important role. You can fix and identify what are the merits, demerits, and how to you collaborate with the project, and other things we're going to discuss with your mentor or your project guide. He will give us a lot of ideas. Suppose you take an as a one software like VB.NET, means it is outdated. Sat said try to the Java. So you must learn the Java and apply for the Java. What are the essential platforms? So the planning, after that the organizing is a very important. Such a last thing, how the how your project is goal oriented works. That is very important. Suppose you have a plenty of options. That means your project is converted into a application oriented, or one suggestion, or you given as a one protocol or rules, so you're going to fix for the based on your project work. The output of our project is organized, how the goal oriented work is start with your project. That is very important. So that only I think start with our my first slide. Pick the project topic is a very essential thing for our. That means medical labs, suppose you doing means medical applications and other things. Second one, education needs. Currently, in the pandemic time, we are very much eagerly waiting for online classes. That kind of apps is only dominating the world. Before pandemic only, we doesn't know about the Zoom. You saw the on 3 months back report. Zoom is the calculation rate of it going to almost the quarter of $300 billion at the time of pandemic. So that only they be created as a creating app, you e-learning portal, and other that kind of things we going to organize. That is a very important thing. Nowadays, the dominant field of our computer science is entertainment field, entertainment apps. So I think your most of them is teenage students. Definitely we cross our all are playing with the PUBG and other games. That is a very important concept. Why the project is converted into a visualized. That is very important. Entertainment is purely application oriented. You can go for the Android development area, means it fixes an entertainment. That means game development, uh, game oriented concepts, and e-quizzes and e-quiz apps. Today, this demand for our entertainment apps oriented computer science projects is needed. So that is a very important. Next, we go for the information storage and retrieval. This is a very, very, very fundamental aspects of our computer science. Now it is classified into Oracle or DBMS and DBMS. That is a platform. We fixed DBMS or DBMS, Oracle, Oracle 99. It travel to almost cloud. That is a cloud operation is a very important thing. So in this cloud, there is a number of service-oriented organizations are used. Suppose you're going to do the information storage and retrieval project means kindly collect with all internet-oriented projects. That means what kind of selection is very important. That means your team lead is act as a better option to do for the performance in that. So that is a information storage and retrieval is a demand project for our computer science students. It is going to need in nowadays. So most of them go for the data analytics projects. Have you seen that a number of all are using the uh, mobile phones with our Android systems. But nowadays they crossed for our identification. How? Suppose you're going to see the one checking of you're going to saw the Flipkart. You're going to purchase a shoe. You saw the shoe and you doesn't purchase. Before you closing the app, suppose you tomorrow or day after tomorrow you going for the another social website means the same advertisement will come and display in your page. How it is possible? That is very important for our mining concepts. They are mining for us. We are following our each and everything for the moment based on our thinking and analyzing how the social networks we use, that kind of identifications and information storages are maintained in that demand of our current projects. Okay. Next, we go for the communication tools. This is a one type of a different angle with the collaborative of multidisciplinary projects. Of the communication, what type of communications we used? That is whether it is used in hardware related. Hardware part is matched with your software part. Like that, simple identifications is maintained. Uh, Suppose you're going to add create an one mic. With the mic identification is followed by different some scenarios. That is also is converted for our based on software program. It is also mapped with our communication tools. That kind of projects is mostly we do. That is mobile application projects is like that a best example for our communications tools. Second one, nowadays it is a highly demand project is on social media research. That means how we handle our social media in our right way or not way. Because the reason of whenever everybody use it as smartphone, the way so use it as a smartphone means next smartphone means we develop our own creations. Because kindly check your WhatsApp is the most prestigious social media we use it for our communication. They also do the day-to-day updations. Why? They can start with our message communication. They start again. They go for next level, the video and other representations. Next, they go for the money transaction, and everything is possible in our WhatsApp. That kind of social media research is very important. Here, the social media is matched with your data analytics. Very important point is here. Nowadays, the dominating world is in big data analytics. Big data analytics is a best and good worth part of our social media research. Suppose you start with our social media research means this is the best example. Collect our, how to manipulate our data and how to manage the data in a different scenarios, and how to interpret our data in our research is a very confidential matter. These are the different angles. We simply identified our ideas and put into a different angle of our social media research. Nowadays, the domination is a video and media creation and editing. This is a pure type of our involvement and our passion. Suppose I mean very very well versed in our photography means I can create an photographic or video media creation and editing project. Why? The reason is nowadays there is a number of identifications are there, but mostly in our computer field there is a JPEG image we used. In this JPEG image, it is also converted into 16-bit representation as well as the 32-bit representation we passed. And nowadays we use it for a 64-bit representation. That is a high demand operations. Why it is supported in the in the next version of our video media creations is going to give, that means a graphical interchange format, how to create our animations with the slow motion as well as our different angles of things. That kind of projects are the highly dominating in future. So that you are the students, basically first year, second year and third year students. The current third year students definitely select in this mode. In the second year and third year students, identify these kind of project topics, what the way you can involve that projects. That is a very important thing. Second one is a virus. Last one is a virus malware protection. Somebody is interested in ethical hacking and how to they manage our virus management, and what are the interpretations and how to anomalies detections. So these kind of operations are is highly demandable field for that. The simple identification is who is a virus creator, the virus scanning company created a virus. They also provide for the solutions. So that is a very important dominant field. But in this last two topics, video media creation and the virus malware detection, when the students is highly involving or highly taken as a passion of his project, that means passion of his study means definitely he will shine that in this too. Previously, the previous discussion of all the six is whenever you choose the first year or second year students, you definitely next go for the next level. So you go for the next level means definitely identify for this what the way your project is classified and what you help in enter into your projects. That kind of identification is very important for the pick the project and type. Okay. Next is an research and the take notes. That is a very important step for your project. Based on the identification of our selection, that is important. Kindly check the status of our heading, research and the take notes. Very important. The research you start with research. Suppose you're going to select the previous one, that you can select in your views you saw in that research in your take your own way. That is very important. Once you identified, you go for the take notes. That is a very important. Why? The reason we will take the notes is kindly check the students should always take notes as they conduct their research. That is very important. That means previously first slide we discussed planned, organized and what the way it is in social use. So planning is a very important. What your plan is fixed, and how the research is related into your planning, and what are the different classifications you mentioned in that research. That is a very important basic step. So you must take the notes. Why you take the notes? Since the project duration going to suppose is a 6 months means there is a day-to-day changes is happen in your selection of your language, selection of your project, as well as a selection of your data. So that you need the fundamental means, definitely you take the notes of your research is very important. Kindly check the second point. This way they can save the time. You will not need to reread entire articles. That is very important. That is very basic fundamental logic is very important for your starting the project. Why we go for the fundamental logic? Based on a simple example, suppose you travel with your own project. You're going to create a one game, gaming project. You start with the game, you fixes rules and other things. It's going to travel half away. Suppose you one of your team member has discussed it, as per our plan, we add with the new concepts of your midway in our research project. How can you know the best way? That is very important for your fundamentals. So that only We need research and take notes is a very important. Kindly check the second point. Take notes and even cite scores by writing the bibliography of the page. That is very important. In this, in our computer science project, there is a two type of classifications. One is a application project, and another one is a one type of research. That means already some people are do the research and they go for one long way. Again, you take that long way, you convert it into your own style. You select the another way. That is a research concept. So taking notes is a very important thing. That means you understand the problem, how it can be reflect, and what the purpose it's created for that. That is a very important. Once you take the notes and take the final assessments of your identifications, that should be noted means it is a fundamental logic for your research work going to start. That is a very important thing. It maintained in the research and take notes. Okay. So next is so another important scoring is this is a very important because you in our department, suppose you start with your project means that is your basic idea. You fix it as important concepts of identifications. That identification means how to conduct that project in our next way. That means your mentor or guide is allotted. Your guide given a tips how to go, how to travel in the same project in the different angle. That is a very important step. So conduct the research product. Once you plan, you fix planning and organizing are finished, how your research is traveled in the next way. That is very important. That means a computer science research project actually conducted the project while it seemed more than obvious steps. So these are the steps we fundamentally followed by informations. That means see that it is a circle. Whether there is no starting point, there is no end point. So that kind of project is highly encourageable in your brain. Simple identification, analyze and interpreted your data means suppose you start with your project means you collect the data. You collect the data. After you start that, it is also possible for your mind. Say, suppose there is no data available means you collect the report and evaluation of the research. Suppose you got the research and the report means how to evaluate the project. You apply for your own style. Previously, I said, suppose somebody do the project, they go for one long way. Again, you take that project and convert it into your project in your own style. That is a very important step. Suppose it's simple. You start with in your blind area. You go for analyze and interpreted data is missing. A report also missing. How can we start our project? This is a pathetic way how we analyze. Simple identification. Identify the research problem. Kindly, that is a planning and organization is highly work in this area. Identify the research problem means you definitely know the notes. That means identify the fundamentals of that problems. Suppose you know the fundamental means whenever the idea will come, you can create with your own style. At the time, the style is mapped with your future extension or future your language to identify your computer language. That kind of identification we start with the identify the research problem. That is also possible. Oh God grace. Suppose you got you doesn't got anything of the three previous. Better you go for the review research. A review means is take your sample applications. Suppose most of the students in our computer science in our UG degree they start with our application oriented project only. Dear students, please concentrate on don't go for the application projects immediately. Why? The reason is it is a fixed means it is a hospital management. In our hospital management means we directly go for the hospital. There is a purchasing unit, there is administrative unit, there is an another possible of different units. How we can identify? So that kind of things is not enough in the application of a project. Basically, you are a computer science student. You can plan, organize is a definition, definitely involve that. After your planning and organization, take a notes. That is, you take a literature survey. Three things in your hand means you definitely cross all the level of obstacles in your projects. So third, review and literature is very important. That is related to your planning organization plan and it how it fits in your next level of identification. Whether you're going to travel with the already done project is modified or you're going to start with the new ideas with the new projects. That is a very important relevant thing. Okay. And the final step is specify a research purpose. That is a very, very, very important thing. So we previously we discussed plan, organize, and how it is related to your society. That is a very important thing. That means specify the research purpose. That means what the purpose the project is used. It is a defined one. You must know all the things. So whenever you start with one project, a project is going to the another level. The after final the completion of that project, how it is used in your society. That is a very important thing. Simply you do the project means how there is no use. You can pay the money, you can collect the project is not an use, but how it is used in your society or relevant to the another people. That is specific in a research purpose. So you must know the society purpose. Suppose you created a one project or you develop an one project, it is used for your medical organization or medical hospitalization means whether your project is applicable for your hospital management. One simple or not a large size of a hospital, it is a simple size of a hospital, whether it is supported or not. So that is a very important thing. But God grace, there is no data available in your means. In the previously discussed all the five steps you forgot. How can we start our project? This is a biggest thing. Better there is a two options I give. Better you go for your mentor and mentee or your project guide. Discuss with your own idea, or otherwise you collect the idea from your guide and apply to start the work initially. So this is a very basic identification. Or second option, you collect the data. You haven't some idea. Suppose you start with the library management means, well, what are the library procedures used? Suppose you start with the college fees system means there is a possibility of online transaction. There is a possibility of direct payment and how the receipts are used, how the receipt and other things, money transaction should be involved in our auditing session. So this kind of a basic identification is a need. Once you identified all the data, you start with your own dimension. Another five is automatically fixed at the time of your identification. So this is a very basic conduct of the research. Kindly check. While this may seem more like obvious steps and tips, once you collect the data, it is your available data in your hand. How you can fix means that is previously we discussed that is planning and taking the notes. The notes contain some basic information and planning. It fixes in your data. You can create your own project. That is a very important basic identification for your steps. Okay. So next slide, please. Sir, sir, next slide. Yes, sir. Thank you. So this is a once there is a four step we crossed. That means planning, organizing, how it is used in the society. All the things are identified means introduce the project in the field. So that is very very important. That means how your project is more friendly. That is a very important thing is identified. Kindly check. There are two basic things that should be included in the introduction. The area of computer science of project is involved, or the name of the research project is identified with your project field. That is very important. A simple identification means you can plan and organize how it is used and the data collection is over. How to define that project? There is a fundamental options used in our computer science. That means whether kindly classify your project, whether the project is applicable for the algorithm oriented. In the nowadays there is an algorithm oriented concepts are more attractively we used. The reason behind that, you go for the one crime analysis. That means cryptography algorithms we used. That is universal formula. So one crime is identified. You saw the crime. The crime scene is identified, where it is happened, how it is happened, what are the geographic locations, what are the longitude and latitude values are identified, how to fix it is. So that kind of analysis and identification is matched with your algorithms. Okay. Then nowadays, the artificial intelligence field is a dominant field we use for our day-to-day life activities, like your mobile phones. There is an another version of our mobile phones comes under the category of artificial intelligence concept. That means AI camera, and AI camera is how to match with our real life environment, that kind of things. That is artificial intelligence a dominant field. How to think, how to react, how to possible to make in the use of in our society. So that means this is a basic research identifications. So graphic design, this is also one of the dominant field nowadays we use it. Most of them hit, and why the hand Android is hit means it is a purely an graphic design. That means because everything is a graphical identification. Once you go to the Android phone, everything is a graphical identification. Students, very sorry for that because here is it heavy rain, so that only connection is immediately lost. Try to connect with my mobile. Sorry for the interruption, sir. Please,
Yes, we can hear you.
sorry, here is heavy
No,
rain,
no
so
problem, no problem. Just you can
that,
continue.
sir.
Just you can continue.
Okay.
Vijay Kumar, you can continue. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir. But
Please continue.
unfortunately, it
Continue. The
is
slide is there.
slide not displayed, sir. But I can manage. Okay,
Can you see that
1 minute, sir.
now?
No, 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 sir. Ah, yes. No, no, no. Sir, I know my slide is very well. So better can I start, sir?
No problem. You are running with the slide number 5.
Yes, sir. But
Yeah,
it
just you continue. We are
unfortunate.
seeing. We are
Yes, sir. But
we are
unfortunately, it not
seeing your
seem clear.
slides.
Sorry for that. Okay. Sorry for the interruption, students. There is a database and embedded systems, operating systems, software engineering, all are it represented in our databases. What the purpose of databases means, every project is an identification that means used for our database concept oriented. Whenever you going for the one interview or one selection of the project is they definitely ask it for one project question is what are the front end tools we used and what are the back end tools we used. Here the front end tool that means identification what the software you used, that means what the language you used for the basic operations. That is a very important thing, that is called a front end. Back end is your supporting feature. That supporting is a collection of your data is stored in your back office of your project. That is a very important step for that identification of our research projects. So that we identified as a project entire field is databases, embedded system, software engineering, operating systems, all are related to your mostly related to your database identifications. So this is a fundamental identification data, how it is manipulated and how it is identified, how the data interpretation is going on. The interpretation, how involved for the nature and the nature of identification, it related to your current identifications. These are the five fundamentals applied for your database. It converted into your real-time project. That is very important. Introduce the project in your field. Next two is a dominant operations or our selection of our project. That is programming as well as the privacy. Programming is a fundamental identification. You can create the one solution for the given identification. Suppose you create in a mathematical model means you start with a mathematical identification. What the classification is identified, whether it is a new identification or the existing identifications. So you can give the solution based on your math identification. So that kind of things is performed in the languages. That means programming oriented uh, projects for the purpose of the language identification. So in the apart from these things, the high dominant field is privacy. Everybody need our privacy. Why we go for online transaction is very much interested in our life means they given a trust. That means whether we going to pay our amount, if whether we purchase on items in our identification from the particular website, the service provider is a different, uh, owner is a different, and the gateway of our payment is identified by the bank also different. These three parts enter into the single app. That means Flipkart, you're going to identify one shoe, you're going to order that shoe, you can fix this purchase order. The transaction of your amount is also possible. Once the transaction is finished, they given as a deliver to our shoe for the particular person. That is also everything is possible. What the demand of the privacy is here fixed is suppose thus that quantity of that product is not suitable or you don't like means you go into the return process. So that only this kind of apps and this kind of online transaction fields are hit in our ratio. They are also conducting the data analytics process, because the people's who what you going to think daily, that identification is collected from your day-to-day routines. Suppose you're going to see in your Flipkart morning in a one watch. Suppose afternoon you go for the one seeing the Flipkart in your one dress. The both parallelly connected and display in your very next social network identification. So that kind of privacy analysis project is very much dominant field where our current scenario it's a selection. So students or our computer science students kindly fix your plan and organize your plans and what the way you're going to execute for that project. Kindly identified for your project in the field of identification. That is very important step for your starting the project, whether you go for the algorithm or whether go for the artificial intelligence concept or design concept or database concept or privacy concept or programming concept, whatever it may be, that is a pure selection is a very important thing. And the nature of the data is very important, whether the data is applicable for all type of dimension of the work field. Why? The reason is your project time is 6 months. Whether it is used for highlight of the project, that the data is 100% naturally supported for your project till end and future also. So that only it is a introduction of the project, and the field is very important for your achievement of your next highest degree success. That is very important. Another last my topic is writing about the research and results. This is a basic information about the success of your project. Suppose you start with your project, your plan of your project, and organize the project and execute the process. You fix the plan, and if you enter into the field of the project, everything is okay. How the your project is reached for your targeting audience, that is identification of writing the research and results. That is very important. In your results part and the discussion identification part, there is a mixed of ideas. That means make sure of include details about your data analysis. That is very important. Why? The reason is your data is whether natural data or hidden data, or whether it's a data created by you own, or it related to the particular organization or particular identification of field data. That is very important data analysis. Okay, once you collect the data and you can identify the interpretation of your statistical analysis, that is very important. You must know the statistical analysis and interpretation only. You definitely go for the result and discussion and conclusion with your fix your own style. You don't know the data analysis means simply the result is simply given, the project is done, that's all. On simple example, I can explain. You suppose you some of your friends is going to start with the multimedia project. Whether the multimedia project is supported for all type of fields. Nowadays, most of them use the multimedia projects in the regular projects also. Suppose one of my friend is going to start with the e-learning project means, whether the e-learning process is supported for the medical operations means, it is also possible. How it is means, it is a e-learning platform. Whether the platform is supported for a different kind of peoples means, that is your project is both for your next level, or otherwise your project is going to a significance is more slow comparably to the other projects. That is very important. So you maintain the result very lively. Well, lively means what the way it going to support the society, or what whether your planned and organized demand output is come for your output of the project. That is identified by the result and identification. Discussion very important means who are all the target audience, whether the result or interpretation or your experimental analysis is come to solve our need. That is very important concept of discussion point. Once you find the result and discussions, we go for the conclusion. That means who, what the purpose the project is created, whether the project is reached for the target audience, whether the project is reached with your custom level identification, or output of our nature, whether the nature is supported for your future or this outdated one. But that kind of mixed conclusion is needed for our identification. This is a very important identification reached for your successful project. Kindly, dear students, please note of that you start with your project is planning, organizing, and what the way it is going to implement. And another most important thing of your project identification, how the project is interpreted into your research field. That means, as a computer science students, you should be know the algorithm concepts and design concept, multimedia concept, database concept, whatever it may be. You can going to select means the fundamental and essential knowledge is very must for our identification. Once you fix at all the level you reach for your project, whether it is an application project or demandable project, whatever it may be, the classification for yours. Once the classification is finished, whether I can going to select your project and apply my own data means, it give an as a interpretation as well as a statistical significance test is passed means, your project is 100% okay. This is my hints for how to success our project in our curriculum as well as our degree process. This is a very important thing. So kindly take care of note that all of you students. Sir, can I close it, sir? Venkat, sir? Venkat, sir?
Yes. Can you have you
Yes,
finished?
sir. Yes, sir. Just now I finished it, sir. Can I finish it with your permission?
Okay.
Sir, kindly, this is my last ending, sir. First of all, my sincere thanks to my Dr. T.S. Venkateshwaran, sir. He is my most lovable friend as well as one of my gifted friend also. He is a very good personality. As a BCA students, you are a very gifted. He is a multiple personality. I'm not joking. He is act as a placement officer as well as head of our head of our department. Is more jovial and please utilize your HOD and converted into your life is a very technical as well as our successful job oriented opportunities. My sincere thanks to our
Okay, sir.
principal also. Thank you for
Vijay Kumar,
sir.
can you hear
Thank
me?
you, sir. Yes, sir. Just now, sir. Thank you, sir.
Because it's heavily raining, I can't hear your voice.
Sorry, sir.
I
Okay.
think my voice is also not audible.
Yes, sir. It's audible, sir. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, viewers, for joining us for this today's session. And first and foremost, I have to thank Dr. M. Vijay Kumar for joining us in the late night with the deep, in the heavy rain also. We have some glitches in the network, and it is well went. Now we are in the end of this session. Thank you for joining us today. Vijay Kumar, thank you very much for sparing your time.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Okay. On behalf of our management as usual, I have to pay my thanks to Dr. Vijay Kumar, our principal, and our faculty members. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you very much. Thank you, Vijay Kumar.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, students. All of you. All the best for your great future. Thank you.